Fox River moves north into Appleton, first passing under the Memorial Street Bridge, seen here. This part of the river hosts the Appleton Yacht Club. Clearly there are boaters here, and on a nice day you might see a boat go by. But the Fox River has never been primarily about pleasure boating. It's a working river, as is evident as we look into Appleton from on top of the Memorial Street Bridge. Coming into view is a hydroelectric dam. From this historic image, you can see the same dam. The main body of water then continues to flow north, finally breaking into 3 smaller channels. But don't miss the canal up above, moving through a series of locks. The canal is a vestige of an earlier time. In 1856, the stern-wheeler Aquila arrived in Appleton from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But although the lock system continued to be run, from the 1860s on, the primary transportation mode was by rail. There's still a fascination with the canal system, evidenced by this video posted on YouTube, celebrating the unveiling of interpretive signs. Obviously it's fall. I took this beautiful afternoon to walk from Appleton's Lawrence University, whose main hall is seen behind that fiery tree, down to the Fox River. My first question will be on the relationship of the river to this institution. Let's first enter the Memorial Union. Inside are lots of student union type facilities, but the Riverview Lounge is the large open room where meetings and receptions are held. As you might have guessed, it's called Riverview because it commands a nice view of the Fox River. On the other side you can also see Neenah Paper, which will be the destination of our short walk this afternoon. As winter comes, those trees will lose their leaves, and the river will stand out clearly behind them. I'm walking now to the construction site of the new campus center for Lawrence University. There's still a lot of work to be done, but it'll have a conspicuous presence overlooking the Fox River. I will argue that this building represents a new way of relating to the river. But first, let's look at its construction and some images of how it will look upon completion.
Did you see that pretty dress? Say, I gave her that. And that look of happiness, say, I gave her that. You should see her flat and her great big picture hat. You declare it's a bear, and I gave her that.
These large panel windows are a main feature of the new campus center. They look out on the river, but also on the Law Street Bridge with its steady flow of car traffic. Here's a look back at the campus center from the same bridge. One almost feels like waving. The plan is to introduce a Riverwalk leading from the new campus center down along the Fox River. Historically, Lawrence has had its back to the river, as if it were trying to ignore the rush of water down there. But taking a walk on a fall day like this, it's clear that the river really is an asset, and already a draw for people looking to get out on a walk. This looks so natural that we might be tempted to ask, why did it take so long? Why was the Fox River ignored? Well, it was not always the scenic stop it is now in Appleton. It was once a river clogged with industry. Take a look at these historical photographs.
Away by the river so clear, the ladies were winding their way, and Pharaoh's little daughter stepped down in the water to bathe.
Much of that industry is gone now, and the remnants of all that now sit before us like artifacts from some distant past. This train trestle is more notable for the light that plays over its rusted surface than for any load it bears. This is the same track on which those students were walking, but it's almost humorous to note how this bridge ends. It runs and then folds itself into the green grass, making obeisance to the road and its new dominion. Just across the street is an historical artifact, the Vulcan street plant. It was the first hydroelectric plant in history, and if you don't believe me or the historical marker, look up hydroelectricity on Wikipedia. This plant beat out another one in Minneapolis by just a few weeks. This rusty machinery produced light for 2 paper mills and a home. Unfortunately, this is only a replica, built in 1933 for the 50th anniversary of the original Vulcan plant. Now the argument in Appleton is how best to use it. And this seat here, positioned for a nice view of the Fox River, gives another indication of how the industrial past is being turned into scenery. Harry Houdini claimed that it was near here that he almost drowned as a boy, only saved by the effort of a playmate. Houdini was from Appleton, and the city tries to highlight its relationship to the great escape artist. Perhaps the Fox River was his first escape. And we can agree that everybody here
comes from somewhere that they would just as soon forget and disguise.
Houdini was in Appleton for just 4 years in his early youth. Even then, the paper mills and other industries would have been evident. A number of these paper plants are still working, even if their names have changed. On YouTube, you can even get a tour of this one.
It's a beautiful day here in Wisconsin, and we're visiting the Neenah Paper Appleton paper mill. If you give me a few minutes, I'm going to show you how paper is made on their paper machine number 4.
What follows is a walk through the process of paper making, not as a hobby but as an industry. We see post-consumer waste and other varieties of pulps being added. There are also various chemicals in the mix. The pulper is 12 feet deep and holds 2 tons of paper-making material. You can see the use to which the water of the fox is put. Papermaking has always been a water-intensive activity. Many of these old industrial buildings, like this one, are no longer working, although you can see how it was designed to use the water from a channel of the Fox. Through a window, we see a faded sign, "God bless America." I don't believe anyone works inside, but they were kind enough to leave us all a message. Just across the street is a building that used to be headquarters for the Riverside Paper Corporation. It's just a dirty shadow now where the letters once were. Nothing ever seems as sad to me as an abandoned parking lot. This one is right next to the old canal where the sternwheelers used to run. But no matter how you look at it, those days are gone. In fact, lots of things are gone. By the way, Houdini did get out of that straitjacket. Good for him.